Hi Internet, this is Nick Kolan at IGN.com. I'm here with Charles Onyett.
How's it going, guys?
We're going to show you DotA 2, Valve's upcoming MOBA, or massively online,
I believe it's
multiplayer online battle
Get your
arena.
acronyms straight,
Oh
Nick.
no, it's too many acronyms.
You're ruining it.
My brain is flooded.
Could also just be called DotA, because
Yep.
the original DotA, which is a Warcraft 3 mod, did sort of kickstart the genre, and it has since evolved to become MOBA as more games of that style. Well, pretty much everyone who makes PC games these days, I think they're all just making MOBAs.
Yeah, that's pretty much MOBAs are the new MMO for a lot of developers, where if they just need to have one too, just because. So
this is the beta. This game isn't out yet.
That's exactly right. And what we're looking at right here is the sort of homepage. This is what you see when you first jump into DotA. One of the things Valve has talked a lot about is what they want to do outside of the DotA actual game. They want to have a lot of educational tools so that new players can learn the ropes, because there's a lot to learn. And they want to make it really easy to get into a game, and really well match-made games, and have a lot of social tools. It's all sort of external to the actual DotA game type, which they're still sticking very loyally to. So what we're looking at right here is the homepage. You can see top live matches on the right here, friends list. There's a chat window, which you can sort of jump between general chat and party chat. A profile. This seems inactive at the moment. It hasn't tracked any of my wins or losses, but it looks like there's going to be a leveling system, which will probably help with the matchmaking primarily. And they can just sort of see how many matches are going on wherever. Up at the top, you've got some tabs. The updates button just shows patch notes for the most recent changes. Play tab is where you're going to go to jump into matches. And this is one of my favorite things. The watch button just lets you watch live matches.
And you're under recent right now, but I think if you click over to, So you just drop into a live game essentially just by clicking the button, and you can, I think that would be really helpful. Even if you've been playing a lot of League of Legends, you know generally how the game is structured, but you don't necessarily, you're not as necessarily familiar with all the minutiae of the rule sets, because there is more to DotA than there is to League of Legends.
That's exactly right. I mean, if you've played a lot of League of Legends, you might have a sense of how the game is structured, but you're not going to know what items to buy, how the heroes work. Even the map is wildly different from any other MOBA out there, just because each MOBA tries to differentiate itself in some way.
How would you say this compares to Rise of Immortals?
It seems better. I'll be honest.
Slightly better?
It seems a little better than Rise of Immortals.
All right. Sorry for the random Rise of Immortals reference.
Never be sorry for that.
Okay.
And then there's two other buttons here. There's Learn, which is blank at the moment, and Socialize, which is also blank. Learn, I'm assuming, is where you're going to have your tutorials and your probably videos for each hero or whatever. I don't really know what Valve was planning specifically. And Socialize, I'm assuming this is where you're going to be able to choose chat locations, or maybe get a group together or something. Maybe find sort of gurus to teach you the ropes if you're a new player. But right now we're just going to jump into a game. And rather than jump into a game with other players...
Matchmaking would put you up against live players,
That's
right?
exactly right.
Yep.
And you can also just choose custom games here, but they take a while to get into, and rather than have you sit and wait at a load screen for a while, which could be super fun...
You could become broadcasters. There are slots for broadcasters there.
That's exactly right. We're just going to jump into a bot game. So it's really simple. You just turn on bots, and the game will automatically fill any empty slots with bots.
And I guess while we're looking at this static load screen here, that was actually much faster.
Yeah, no, load is actually pretty fast if you have your internet firewall turned off.
All right, well, I guess while your countdown's going here, if you could just basically explain what the difference between strength, agility, and intelligence heroes are, and maybe just click around a little bit so you can see some different portraits.
That's a great idea. So right now we're looking at the hero select screen. I don't know how much, if any, this will change from now until release. Strength heroes are primarily focused on health and armor, and they get a little damage through that, and they're your tanks and initiators. Agility heroes are more about damage, both ranged and melee. They want to get in and they want to kill you fast because they don't have a whole lot of health or armor. And intelligence heroes are primarily about their spells, and they're the heroes that use a lot of sort of fancy tricks. They're also your support heroes and pushers, which means that they'll push you down the lane. There's also three or four buttons up the top there that are completely inactive right now. This is beta, so there's some sound glitching. You start off basically at the start of your base. Now, I just want to point out the map down the bottom here. There are two bases There's one here and then one up here, and these are where the two teams start off. And then there's 3 lanes, one along here, one down the middle, and then one along the bottom that connect up to the 2 bases, and that's how you travel, and that's where your minions, which will start pouring out soon, that's just basically where they walk.
Yeah, the minion. That's the countdown you see at the top center of the screen, right? Once that
that's
hits
exactly
0,
right
and
here. Yeah, that's when minions will start spawning. Your item select screen here gives you some good suggestions based on what character you're using. Each character has their own suggested items, and I mean, now I'm not super familiar with Dota's heroes or items, and so I've been using this quite a lot, and it's pretty decent. For example, right here, if I buy all of these items, it will pretty much spend as much of my money as possible in the most efficient way possible for this character.
Yeah, which is good because, I mean, as you'll see once this game kicks into gear here in about 15 seconds, it's really fast-paced once you get into the actual combat.
That's exactly
you
right,
have to make a lot of decisions very quickly, and also because of the sort of seesaw nature or tug-of-war nature of the map control. Having somebody sitting back while trying to figure out which items to buy can be really detrimental to your team if they're not up there at the front lines, trying to push back enemy heroes and swing the tide of battle.
Yeah, for every second you're spending at your base, that's a second you're not getting money and experience from last hitting minions or harassing your opponent or doing something that could be really helpful for your team.
And there go your guys. And those are computer controlled. They will just spawn regularly.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they spawn at regular intervals. That said, in this match, everyone's computer controlled except for me.
That's true.
And the AI...
Normally the special characters, the ones with the big fancy the health bars over their heads, are all controlled by real players.
That's exactly, yeah. The AI is actually really solid here. It seems like there's probably a limited pool of 9 or 10 bots with AI built into them, but they are really good at basically playing out a match. They're much more complicated than anything I've seen in other MOBAs.
Yeah, and they'll call out what they're doing too,
Yeah.
right? They'll let you know sort of what they're up to.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll see evidence of that at some point soon.
So what happens at the start of most matches in most MOBAs is this sort of tug of war here, where you and your opponents are both trying to last hit these monsters, because last hitting or
and that's what
them,
you're doing. You're just essentially sitting back and waiting the last hit.
Yeah. Last hitting a minion will net you some gold, which is really how you progress your character. Ooh, this guy is trying to kill me. Ouch.
And that is something that is distinct of Dota that you wouldn't necessarily find in like League of Legends, where you do need to be very conscious of that last hit.
Well, I mean, last hitting in League of Legends is also really important. But in this, there's the added pressure of getting a last hit before your opponent can kill
the denial aspect, essentially.
Kill their own minion, thereby denying you the money.
It seems like they're actually pushing back on you here.
Yeah, they are, which is fine because my character actually plays better around a tower. Oh,
okay.
But I am getting eaten by these minions.
And yeah, as the towers are taken down throughout the course of a match, that just means that the opponent can advance that much further up the map and closer to your base, with the objective of eventually flattening your base and winning.
Yeah, exactly.
Which usually takes a while. The matches do tend to last, I mean, unless it's an absolute rout, you're looking at a 30-plus minute investment.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played a match under 50 minutes so far. Dota is much slower than League of Legends, and I think that's mostly just because of the size of the map. The map is actually a lot larger than a lot of the MOBAs that are out at the moment.
And Nick, I don't know if you can explain sort of the decisions you're making as you level, but sort of the way leveling works here is that Nick is getting experience for what he's doing. His hero will level, but it's only confined within each match. So every match you start out at a base level, and then you level up throughout the match. And every time you level, you can put a point into one of 3 skills initially. Eventually, you unlock the 4th, which is considered the ultimate. And then in Dota, you can also put points into your character's statistics, that gives you a little more freedom of decision than maybe some people might be used to in MOBA type
That's
games.
right, yeah. And the statistics, I mean, when you put a point into your statistics, you put it into all of your statistics. So it's not like you have to choose between strength, intelligence, and agility. No matter what you choose, you're going to get points in all of them. But it basically means that you'll be statistically stronger than maybe your opponent, which is really good for a lot of the attack damage-based champions, but not so great for some of these carries, or some of these casters, rather. Now, I'm going to try and chase this guy down, but my opponent is sort of blocking me here.
Your
Or
guy, right?
My
Your
ally,
teammate.
rather, yes. So I'm probably actually not going to be able to catch up to him. But if I do, I'll be able to lock him down, and my oh, here he comes.
There you go.
And
So
we're
yeah,
about to get a
can you explain sort of what the abilities you've picked so far are?
Yeah, so my character, I'm playing Shadow
And there,
Shaman.
you just leveled up again. So
Exactly, yeah. So I'm playing a character called Shadow Shaman, and he's got 3 main abilities. One is just sort of a direct damage spell that can actually deal damage to a whole bunch of units at once. One is a polymorph of sorts. It'll turn an enemy into a chicken.
Always appropriate.
Yep.
Can you turn the catapult into a chicken?
I don't think so. I think this is only usable against heroes.
Okay.
So,
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, not as sorry as me. I wanted to turn everything into a chicken when I got into this.
There's no mass foul spell?
No.
Okay.
Not that I found. And then the third ability is called Shackles, and it basically locks my opponent down, deals a little bit of damage over time.
And that's what you used before when you were chasing that hero to sort of stop him in his tracks and let you sort of pile on damage while he's immobile.
Exactly. So this character is defined as a pusher. So his real role is to push lanes forward, and primarily I do that through my Q ability, Ether Shock, but my ultimate is also really good at that as well. And you'll see my ultimate hopefully soon. Oh, here we go.
Oh, and you said Q
No,
ability,
not yet.
and what you mean by that isn't Q in the sense that it's lining up with something. It just means that you're actually hitting the Q key to use it.
Yeah, that's right.
So your abilities are mapped automatically to Q, W, and E, so that you have fast access to them.
And if you're trying to click your spells, as
You're doing it wrong.
yeah, as non-PC gamers might want to try and do, you're gonna get slaughtered because you're just gonna be too slow. So right now we're pushing this lane forward.
Yeah, and I don't know if the clicking is actually coming through on the audio from Nick's mouse, but you do have to furiously click to play this game properly.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering what that is.
And in fact, if you're not clicking like all the time, then you're probably doing it wrong as well. Because if you stand still too long, you're going to get totally destroyed by something. It's inevitable. Now I am gonna actually stand still for a moment and hop around the map and see what else the other lanes are doing. The middle lane is usually just a one-person lane, and you can see that right now. And that's usually where your really high damage characters go because they get farmed up faster, they'll get more money, and they'll be able to pretty much melt faces later on in the game if they get well enough fed, as it's called.
And farmed up, just to sort of break that down a little bit, just means they're amassing experience, they're leveling up, and you just mean they're making a lot of kills to power themselves up, so later in the game they will be able to come in and well, cause some serious problems.
Yeah.
when they enter a fight with whatever lane you choose to push on at some point later.
Yeah, and middle lane characters are also usually good at moving around the map quickly and sneaking up on people and basically getting kills. A lot of if you're playing like a middle lane hero, you want to do what's called, you want to roam basically. You want to move across the map. You want to do sneak attacks called ganks, and basically give the rest of your team that slight advantage by putting the pressure on your enemy. Our middle character doesn't really seem to be doing that, but they do.
But it is interesting that the AI by itself figured out that that's what sort of needs to be happening.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to give commands, and just getting kills on heroes, just to sort of explain how that works. You're not you're not
I'm
dead.
about to get
Wow,
fried.
that looks like it hurt. Actually, you might die here, so we may. Sorry, I didn't mean to jinx you. Oh, turn around. Saw that tower.
If he came within tower range, I probably would have shackled him and gotten him killed, but oh well. Sorry.
Anyway, sorry. So yeah, if you were to die there, you would be sort of out of the fight for a certain amount of time, depending on your level, correct?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, so you're not dead permanently. It's not like you have to spectate the rest of the match, but you are dead for a specific time frame, which leaves your team down a man, essentially. And that comes into play with what I was talking about earlier, where if you're sitting there at the item vendor figuring out what to buy, that's just more time that you're not spending in a fight, which we'll see. Yeah, we'll see it right here.
I just died. But I also got a couple kills, so that was good.
Nice.
So yeah, my body just sort of lies on the ground. I'm dead for about 12 more seconds. And during that time, I can still skip around and look at other things.
But yeah, this becomes especially important if a team is making a serious push on a base, and you can actually whittle down the amount of people the amount of heroes that you're fighting, which gives you a significant advantage.
Yeah,
at least until they respawn.
Now,
or buy back in.
Yeah, now and that's something that's unique to Dota that I haven't seen, or I think it might also be in Heroes of New Earth, but you don't. I haven't seen it in any other MOBAs I've played lately. Buying yourself back to life. So if you really need to be out on the map somewhere, you can throw away a whole lot of your money, and appear wherever, or I mean not wherever. You'll appear back at your base.
But yeah, you don't have to wait for that timer.
No, yeah, you can just start melting faces again.
And obviously the throwaway there is that yes, you're back in the conflict, you're able to help your team out, but maybe some powerful item that you were eyeing is just no longer purchasable, and you have to go out and spend that time in the field again to earn that money back.
Yeah, exactly. And the cost grows over time. So right now it's only probably a couple hundred, but it ends up getting pretty large.
Yeah.
Now I'm actually going to kill this guy right now.
Oh God.
With my ult here.
That was your ultimate?
Yep, all those snakes there that are melting faces.
I do see the snakes.
Yep, I just got 2 kills with my awesome snakes.
Nice.
Those things are awesome.
Wow, yeah, they are cleaning up.
And that's why
pretty much everyone there just died.
Yeah, that's why they're the ultimate. Oh, I can't move apparently. Oh, no, I think I had something else selected. I actually had 2 level ups just then, so
yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
pretty
put
good.
some points.
And you can upgrade the ultimate as well, too, right? There are, what, 3 levels for that?
Yeah, but you can only upgrade your ultimate at levels 11 and 16.
Okay.
So I've still got a little while before I can upgrade that thing. My ultimate actually also gets upgraded by a specific item called Aghanim Scepter. Now, while a lot of item names have actually changed for Dota 2 because of copyright stuff, I'm assuming, some of them haven't. And some of the ones that I thought would have to didn't, in fact, like Aghanim Scepter, which... if you're a Zelda fan, you might recognize that name as the wizard from, I think, A Link to the Past?
And I guess this is probably a good time to talk about just how this game came about and why it is a little odd that Valve is making it, is just because Dota started out as a mod for Blizzard's Warcraft 3. Blizzard didn't make Dota, but they did make Warcraft 3 that it was modded off of. And in the time since, Valve essentially hired one of the curators of the original Dota, codename IceFrog, who's working on this game right now, and has been since development started. But yeah, this is now Dota 2, framed as the sequel for Defense of the Ancients, Dota, the first mod. But the original game Valve had absolutely nothing to do with.
That's right, yeah. And when Blizzard was asked about Valve copywriting the word Dota, they said, to quote, "It's a little weird."
It is a little weird. The whole situation is a little weird. It's
Yeah.
just because it's kind of this rudderless genre that has a specific origin point, but there isn't that distinct claim to the origin point in terms of different companies. So it's just kind of ballooned all over the place.
Yeah.
The other thing is the art style here. I mean, Valve is not a company that you would associate with a fantasy art style, and a lot of the character models and everything like that look like they're pretty similar to the
Warcraft
Blizzard
3.
models
Yeah,
that you would have seen in Warcraft 3. Like you'll see, and that's just because Valve is staying very true to.
Earthshaker, for example, looks a lot like, I think it was Karen Bloodhoof. It's one of the Taurens, who basically carries around a giant totem. So it's basically that guy.
Yeah, you'll see, night elf-like characters. One of the rock golems from Warcraft 3, abominations from Warcraft 3.
Yep.
Very, very similar character models. Not a lot of. I mean, obviously it looks nicer here, but yeah, a lot of. staying true to the art style from the original game, which was basically Blizzard's art. Well, not basically, it was Blizzard's art style because they were just the same character models.
But this does look a lot nicer.
Yeah, it's vastly improved.
Yeah, and the visuals.
It's not like there are any shared assets or anything like that. It's just it does look strange. We're like, wow, that looks a lot like Warcraft art. It's
Yep.
like, but this is not a Blizzard game.
Yeah. But
Interestingly, Blizzard is now making a MOBA game. And it's also called Dota.
Yep. Blizzard Dota.
It's called Blizzard Dota.